You know that cup of coffee you're holding, or thinking about holding right now? It's so much more than just a morning pick-me-up. It's actually the very last page of a long story. A story about passion, about incredible precision, and, believe it or not, about human connection. So today, we're going to follow the journey of Tumusiime Charles to go behind the counter and see what really goes into the life of a barista.
And right there, that quote says it all. This isn't just about the mechanics of how to make a good coffee. For a real barista, the goal is to create a moment for you, an experience. It's a whole philosophy that turns what could be just another transaction into something genuinely meaningful. And that's the big idea we're going to unpack. So where does a journey like this even start? Well, for Charles, it began on his very first day, staring down this sleek stainless steel espresso machine. He said the feeling was this wild mix of pure excitement and honestly, total intimidation. He knew he had to figure out how to unlock the secrets of a perfect brew from this beautiful beast of a machine. And when you look at his career, you can see it wasn't random. It was a very intentional path. He started deep in the world of African coffee heritage. Then he learned how to be fast and perfect in a super busy cafe. And finally, he got this amazing global perspective on coffee culture. This mix of experiences is really what gives him such a deep understanding of the whole craft. Think about this. His journey kicked off at a place that set the bar unbelievably high. Can you imagine walking into your first day and you're surrounded by pros who have already been doing this for 10 years? These weren't just people making coffee, they were true artisans. Being in that kind of environment from day one completely shaped his approach to everything. Okay, so you're in this place surrounded by excellence. But how do you actually learn the craft? This is where the real work begins. The journey from being a complete novice to someone who can navigate all the complexities of coffee. This is where passion starts to become actual skill. His training started with one single, absolute rule from his mentor, Maxwell. Forget all the fancy stuff for a minute. If you can't pull a perfect shot of espresso, nothing else matters. It's the foundation. It's the one note that the entire symphony of a coffee menu is built on. And getting that one shot right is, it's this delicate science. You're constantly playing with these four things. Is the grind too fine? Is the dose off by just a gram? Did you press down evenly? Every single tiny factor has to be just right, all for a little shot of coffee that's over in just 25 seconds. No pressure, right? And this really shows you what it's like to learn. It is a grind, literally. You're pulling shot after shot that's just wrong. Too bitter, too watery, you name it. It's so frustrating, but that's exactly what makes it so incredibly satisfying when you finally get it. That rich, smooth, perfectly balanced shot with that beautiful golden crema on top.
So once you've kind of got the espresso dialed in, the next big mountain to climb is the milk. And we're not just talking about making it bubbly. The goal is this thing called microfoam. It's this silky, velvety texture, almost like wet paint, that blends perfectly with the espresso. This is what gives a latte that amazing feel in your mouth, and it's the canvas for all the art. All right, so you've got this science of the espresso down, and you have this perfect milk canvas ready to go. Now the journey takes a turn into a whole new territory. This is where the barista stops being just a technician and starts becoming an artist.
It's a good question, isn't it? I mean, how do you take two simple things, coffee and milk, and turn them into something beautiful? Well, the secret is all in the pour. Everything starts with the most basic design, the heart. First, you pour from way up high. This lets the milk dive underneath the espresso, creating your canvas. Then, you bring the pitcher right down close to the surface, and that's when the white foam starts to float on top, making the design. And that little flick at the end, that's what creates the tail. It's a whole choreography of height and speed. From the heart, you start to build. The Rosetta introduces a totally new move, a gentle little side-to-side wiggle as you pour. That motion is what stacks the foam into those delicate layers, creating that amazing fern pattern. It's the next big step in learning how to control the flow. And then you get to the tulip, which adds another level of difficulty. This isn't one smooth pour. You're actually making a series of smaller pours, stacking little hearts on top of each other. This is a real test of a barista's control, because each new pour has to be placed perfectly without messing up the last one.
And this journey of skill can lead to some really incredible places. Inspired by a designer friend, Charles actually created the rainbow latte, using food-safe colors to basically paint with milk. It just goes to show you, once you master the fundamentals, there's really no limit to what you can create.
But you know, just like we heard in that opening quote, the technical skill is only half the story. The other half is all about the people,
the community that just naturally grows inside a cafe. That's what turns all this skill into a real, shared human experience. You start to recognize the regulars, and they become part of your day. People like Mr. Michael, the retired teacher who comes in every single morning at 7:30 for his cappuccino, always ready with a new story. He's not just a customer, he's the cafe's official storyteller. And then you have someone like Alex, the writer, who basically made a corner of the cafe his creative office. The conversations go way beyond just taking his order. You end up talking about his latest chapter, about books, about creativity, all of it fueled by a simple cup of black coffee. And this whole cast of characters is what makes the cafe a living, breathing place. You've got the software developer with stories from around the world, the professor grading papers, the musician who just starts playing, the designer who literally leaves her art on the walls for everyone. Each person adds something special, and serving them is what gives the daily grind its real meaning. So, after all those years of dialing in the technique and building a community, what's the big takeaway? What's the core philosophy that keeps a great barista going in this relentless search for the perfect cup? Well, it really comes down to this one powerful idea from Japan, Kaizen. The concept is all about continuous improvement, not through some huge dramatic change, but through tiny, consistent little improvements that you make every single day. And you can see this philosophy in everything a great barista does. It's in tweaking the grinder every single morning. It's in practicing latte art when the cafe is quiet. It's in mentoring the new person behind the counter. Remember that whole frustrating process of learning the espresso shot? That was Kaizen. Mastery isn't some destination you arrive at. It's this endless journey of making things just a little bit better every single day.
And that really brings us to the final thought here. The story of a barista shows us that even in the most normal parts of our day, there can be some profound artistry and deep community hiding in plain sight. So it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What hidden craft and connection could you find if you just looked a little closer at your own daily routine?